Good morning. Welcome to 49ers in 5, your daily update on everything happening with the team that you need to know. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. Today is Friday, March 8th, 2024. Here's what's happening with your San Francisco 49ers. CBS Sports NFL insider Josina Anderson recently listed the 49ers as one of the 5 best destinations for free agent wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Obviously, that's a name a lot of you know, and that gets some people excited, but let me just tell you, this is not the same Odell Beckham Jr. that you're thinking of. First of all, he's 31 years old now. He's coming off major injuries in recent seasons. Of course, we all remember the torn ACL in the Super Bowl with the Rams. He has had just one 100-yard game since 2019. One. He has had no 1,000-yard seasons since that 2019 season, and he's played with Matthew Stafford, he's played with Lamar Jackson, and he's played with Baker Mayfield. He couldn't get it done then, and he was only on the field for 50% of the Ravens snaps last year, so half the time he wasn't even on the field. This is not the Odell Beckham Jr. you remember from that crazy catch on Sunday Night Football. Not the same guy. Now, could the 49ers use another wide receiver? Maybe, depending on what happens with Juwan Jennings, depending on what happens with Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel. But there are other names out there on the market that I think they'd be better off pursuing. Sterling Shepard would be one. Curtis Samuel would be another. Darnell Mooney, another. All viable options for the 49ers ahead of Odell Beckham Jr. And just a word to the wise for NFL free agency. There are a lot of names out there that you know. Quan Alexander, K'Wan Williams, Kendrick Bourne, speaking of 49ers, Michael Thomas, Jamal Adams. There's a lot of names you've heard before, but the name is the only thing really that they still have going for them at this point. Don't get caught up in that. Don't worry about signing a name guy. Worry about signing the right guy. And say what you want about the 49ers. More often than not, they've done that. Perfect example. How many of us knew who Charvarius Ward was before he signed with the 49ers? You might have heard the name once or twice, but we didn't know who he was. Great signing for San Francisco. He has locked it down as the number 1 corner, right? Azeez Al-Shire, same thing. Laken Tomlinson, when they traded for him, we were like, who's this guy from the Lions? Laken Tomlinson? Don't worry. They were the right calls. The game was better than the name, and that's what matters. So don't get caught up in that. Don't worry about Odell Beckham Jr. to the Niners. You don't need him. You'll be better off going in a different direction. We always give you one thing to read, one thing to watch, and one thing you might have missed, one thing to read. If you want to learn a little bit more about Brandon Staley and why the 49ers might have been interested in him, check out this column from Ted Wynn of The Athletic. It's old, it's from January of 2023, but it's very, very good. Before you dump on Brandon Staley for his, job as Chargers head coach, read the article, read some of the game plans and the confusing things that Brandon Staley has done in the past, and maybe you can start to learn a little bit why the 49ers wanted him as part of the staff. If you want to read it, click a link in the description of this episode. One thing to watch. Mooney Ward's financial future. I know he was paying attention because the Bears signed Jalen Johnson to a new contract yesterday. 4 years, $76 million, $43.8 million guaranteed at signing. He gets $28 million the first year. Mooney obviously wants a new deal after this year, so he's going to be keeping an eye on the cornerback market. And the recent cornerback deals that get signed are the ones that Mooney and his team are going to base his contract demands off of. One thing you may have missed. I loved this tweet from Eric Branch. Quote, Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave, and Eric Armstead are scheduled to count for $58 million against the salary cap next season. That is more than any other team currently has on the books for their entire defensive line. That's a wrap on today's 49ers in 5. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. If you click the bell, you'll get notified every single time we go live, which is every single weekday for you. Today, I'll be live with Mimosa Michelle Magic from the NFL Network, 9:15 a.m. Pacific time. Please join us for that. Enjoy your Friday and your weekend, everybody. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. We'll talk later today.